Hello, I'm Yang Chao. I'm going to read to you the second chapter of Henry the Fifth. One morning, not long after Henry's coronation, the nobles of the High Council were gathered together in the reception chamber of the King's Palace in London. Among them was the Duke of Exeter, the King's uncle. He knew that Henry was about to face his most challenging test yet. How young and lonely he looks on that great throne, Exeter thought. He has his mother's dark hair and soft eyes, but does he have any of his father's courage, I wonder? His question was soon answered, for just then the doors of the great chamber opened and an ambassador from the Dauphin, the Crown Prince of France, entered. The ambassador was a perfumed dandy with his curled beard, and the clothes he wore were as brightly coloured as a peacock's feathers. Behind him, two guards carried a large wooden chest which they set down on the floor. The ambassador gave an elaborate bow. "Your Highness," he said in a voice as smooth as honey, "my master, the Dauphin, sends greetings." "I want more than greetings," Henry replied coldly. "I ask King Charles to give me back the French lands that my father won from him. What is his answer?" The ambassador ran his fingers through the curls of his beard and smirked. "The king is busy with important matters," he said. "His Majesty thought that since the Dauphin is closer to your age, it will be better for him to deal with your request." Henry felt a sting of anger at the ambassador's insolent tone, but he kept his voice calm. "And what is the Dauphin's message?" he asked. "The Dauphin thinks you are a little too young to bother yourself with affairs of state," said the ambassador, gesturing to the wooden chest. "So he has sent a present which he thinks it will be more suitable than the right to French dukedoms." The ambassador clicked his fingers and the guards opened the lid of the chest. It was filled with tennis balls. One of them fell out and rolled to the foot of Henry's throne. The nobles glanced at each other anxiously. King Henry had been insulted and humiliated in front of all his courtiers. How would he respond? Henry leaned over and picked up a ball at his feet. He bounced it once and caught it in his right hand. "Tell the Dauphin that he has begun a game with me that he wish he'll never started," he said. "His mockery will turn these tennis balls into cannonballs. The people of France may be laughing at the Dauphin's joke, but they'll weep before I'm finished." The ambassador's face went deathly pale. He bowed low and left the chamber.
Sorry.
Okay, that was just my mum. When the door closed behind him, the nobles began to talk among themselves. Most of them glanced admiringly at Henry, but the Earl of Cambridge scowled at the king. He raised his voice above the hubbub in the chamber and said, "Your Majesty spoke hastily. You should have sought the advice of older and wiser men before plunging our country into war." "An insult to me is an insult to the English people," Henry snapped. "And besides, my Lord Cambridge, I don't listen to the advice of traitors." Cambridge started as though someone had jabbed him with a knife point, and his eyes bulged with fear. "You thought because of my youth I could be easily deceived," Henry went on, "but I found you out. You betrayed your country for French gold and worked as a spy for King Charles. Guards, take him to the Tower." The nobles stared in astonishment at the disclosure of Cambridge's treachery and at seeing the determination of the young king. He was wiser and stronger-minded than any of them had realized. Men from all over the country answered to the young king's call to war with France. Blacksmiths, farm workers, wheelwrights, weavers, and clerks all left their homes and marched along the roads that led to Southampton. The younger men that thought that war would be kind of a holiday and were eager for fame and glory. Others, who had fought before, knew what battle was like, were grim-faced and silent. At Southampton, the men began their training. Hour after hour and day after day they marched and drilled. At the archery butts, men with longbows practiced until their aim was true. Slowly, the raggle-tangle band of volunteers were transformed into an army. When all was ready, the French battle fleet set sail for the French port of Harfleur. And that's it for chapter 2. Thank you. Bye.